Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this narration of the web series, The Nature of Predators. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 60. Memory transcription subject, Captain Sovlin, Federation Fleet Command. Date, Standardized Human Time, October 20th, 2136. The feeling of teeth in my shoulder produced a sharp pain. The joint was about to be ripped from the socket as I was dragged across the asphalt. I wriggled in the predator's jaws, punching its snout to release its grip. The stabbing of my long claws drew blood, and it tossed me onto the ground with a shake of its head. My body slammed against the metallic shuttle. All I could do was see stars. The pounding of my heart was a nauseating experience. This must be what my family felt as they were toyed with, before being turned into screaming male. I couldn't give the ox or cattle fiends the satisfaction of screaming, crying. Maybe it was worth some sort of plea to get them to spare the Harkin. The sole option that crossed my mind was to invoke the humans. They were the only ones the Greys had a remote respect for. If the primates had directed the ox or dominate out of the vulnerable civilian populace, perhaps they would abandon anything the Terrans allegedly claimed. "Stop!" I squealed. "I'm a human slave, on a mission to expose the Federation's lies. When they killed your cattle, like you say, they want to get the details for you." To my amazement, the Grey paused in its stalking position. "The humans did claim the Gojian homeworld, and we recognize their stake. I can smell them on your fur. But where are our fellow predators? If you're their property, they wouldn't set you free." They have my family," I sobbed, with a fake despondency. "I'll do whatever they want, even if it's harmful to the Federation." Confusion flashed in Solani's eyes. The Harchan reporter knew my family was long deceased, so that lie wouldn't fool her. I didn't understand why the prey reptiles hadn't made a run for it yet. There were no good options, but stalling the oxel gave them a small window of escape. The bloodied predator flashed a snarl. "Clever. But why are you on this world with those who attacked Earth? These Harchand are priority assets for the humans. I don't ask questions, but I'm sure it's for the good reason. Let us leave, please." The Greys conferred for a moment and inspected the smoking section of the shuttle hood. I couldn't believe that they were listening to any of my bullshit. There was a brief flicker of hope that we all might fall under Terran immunity. Propping myself upright, I nursed the wounded arm with a ginger touch. Talking to them is revolting, but the Arxor just confirmed that the assault is retaliation for Earth. Slady was right. What have the humans done? "We'll let you leave as a token of good faith, slave. We mangled your engine and all, so you'll need to find another way off-world." The Arxor spoke monster decided. "But the Harkin stay. I think you are disobeying your orders to save our enemies." The prey reptiles scampered back into the stairwell, only to find themselves blocked by a laughing Grey. A single beast must have landed on the roof, cutting off any escape. They intended to flush the Harchan out into the street, one way or another. My eyes widened in horror as the grasps herded them into a cage. "Stop! The humans want these four as media tools, really," I pleaded. The vicious predator snorted. "The humans want all of them dead. On that matter, it just so happens our interests align." I wondered whether the Terrans would enjoy the sight of the panic Harchan reporters, sealed together in a degrading heap. My prisoners would despise this raid, wouldn't they? The cage door slammed shut, and the Arxor gestured for me to scurry off. It would be easy to save myself, but I couldn't watch cattle be hauled away. My gaze darted over to my gun, which had fallen into the dirt. Odds were I could only get off a shot or two before the Greys mowed me down with prejudice. I had to try something to rescue these Harchan, no matter how suicidal. It was a matter of waiting for the Arxor to lose focus, and accepting that I was about to die. "Is there a problem?" A throaty snarl echoed from my right. Carlos stomped across the road, clad from head to toe in protective pelts. A flashlight was mounted on his helmet, and his binocular eyes hid behind glass visor. A massive gun rested across his muscular forearm. I was never so elated to see a flesh-eating predator in my life. But what the hell is my guard doing here? I don't even know that he would leave the Harchen to their fate, or worse, laugh about it. The human stopped a few paces from the Arxol posse, and crossed his arms in his formidable stance. The talkative grey, who must have been the unit leader, sized up the omnivore. It narrowed its eyes with blazing ferocity, challenging Carlos's will. I didn't know how the UN soldier faced the stare. The reptilian predator bared its fangs. Your slave wants to help these Harchen escape. It's using its subjugation as a cover, claiming this was done on your orders. Carlos's pupils flicked to the cramped cage. You heard Soblin and his true orders correctly. He's an obedient servant. We want to send a message to the Federation, and these are the right individuals for the job. Simple. A relative sigh escaped my lips. I was grateful that the human backed me up. After I deviated our flight path to recruit Terran enemies, he might take this Harchen prisoner, or even execute them, but he wouldn't eat them. His kind wasn't like the Greys. At worst, I could reason with him and make sense of the questionable things he might do. Why can't you find another pet? The Grey hissed. We did all the work, and we claimed this batch. These prey are of no particular importance, no different than thousands like them, with the same qualifications. Carlos shuffled closer. Our personal selections are made of data, simulations, and best strategic minds on Earth. Are you questioning our judgment? Yes, I am. Say it again, you feckin' coward. I'm questioning the judgment of a weak, naive primitives. You haven't a clue what you're doing, or what it means to survive in this galaxy. The human rose up on his toes and pressed his slender nose inches from the Arxol's maw. The Grey straightened, and Carlos tried to match his height. It breathed a defending snarl at the UN soldier, but he wouldn't back down. Defiance glowed in the primate's eyes, despite being outclassed. I could snap your puny neck in a single bite, the Arxol roared. Carlos jabbed his gun barrel into his stomach, and I could blow your intestines apart with a single finger. But we're on the same side, so why don't we work this out another way? A contest of strength. You fight me one-on-one, without those overcompensating weapons of yours. If you win, you can have these Harchen. I'm game, if you'll agree not to bite, unless you think you're too weak to fight without overcompensating fangs. Oh, let's do this. I'm going to beat the snot out of you, human. The Terran soldier backed away and tucked his rifle off to the side. He raised his clawless paws in front of his face, forming a white-knuckled fists. What was to stop the Grey from executing him, now that he was disarmed? Luckily for Carlos, it was itching to release its aggression. The Arxol lunged at him with a blunt swipe, which was barely dodged. It lashed out with a tail sweep, knocking the guard off his feet. The monster whirled around with quick jabs, which the primate blocked with an elbow. Carlos rolled out of the way and scrambled back to the standing position. He looked slow and toothless compared to the reptilian, not managing a single swing of his own. Carlos scurried backwards and tried to deflect the oncoming barrage. Sweat glistened off his olive skin. Tears showed in his artificial pelts. The Arxol aimed a jab at his abdomen, but the human danced away on nimble feet. While he was focused on the claws, it swung its snout at him with force. Now the truncated maw nailed the guard right in the chest and sent him flying backwards. The poor guy's getting his ass handed to him. Why did we think that this was a good idea to negotiate? Damn humans and their aggression. Carlos sucked in a wheezing breath and hopped back to his paws. The Grey charged at him once more, and the human pummeled him in the nostrils. It shrugged off the punch with a snort. The UN guard attempted to deliver a kick, but the reptilian caught its frail leg. It snickered as the human flailed, hopping on one leg. This isn't even a fight. The Arxol tugged on the primate's ankle and knocked him onto his rump. It dragged him through the dirt for several paces. We may treat you like equals, but you don't make demands of us. You don't intimidate anyone. Carlos kicked his clasped paw with his other leg, wriggling free. You haven't beaten. Stay down, weakling. I've kicked the crap out of you. Know when to admit defeat. Basic humility would do you good. The human began to rise, only to be nailed across the mouth by its tail flesh. Crimson blood bubbled on his lip, and he spit the liquid into the dirt. He rolled onto his back, watching as the Oxel gloated in its victory. His hand darted to his head, wrenching a flashlight off his headgear as it shone inches from his left pupil. The Oxel shrieked as the brightness flooded its gaze, blinking. Carlos popped up on his wobbly legs and staggered into grappling range. The human drove his knee into its stomach before tackling it with all of his weight. He rolled off to the side and wrapped the elbow around its neck. The Grey struggled to break loose, but its oxygen supply was dwindling. "Game, set, and match. Tap out," Carlos gurgled. The Grey palmed at the human's elbow with feeble swats, its hideous eyes bulging. Carlos released his grip with a toothy snarl. It coughed several times, caressing its throat. The creature struggled to get back to its feet, and the Terran helped it stand. "You cheated," it sputtered. "No weapons." The UN guard shrugged. "I didn't use a weapon. Just an illumination device. You broke the spirit of sparring, which is cheating to my eyes. You show little respect to our allies, and you're lucky I like irreverence. Take the damn Harkin. It's a whopping 4 cattle." The Oxel slunk off with a narrowed gaze, as their leader hobbled away. True to their word, the demons left the Harkin's cage behind. The relief that flooded my veins was indescribable, though my hammering heart wouldn't pipe down. I raced over to the human and flung my arms around him with choking sobs. Carlos stiffened and pulled my paws off of him. "Oh yeah, don't do that, man." "Sorry, I'm just really grateful for your help," I muttered. "What are you doing here?" "Keeping an eye on you, obviously. We were concerned about your little pit stop and followed you down here. I would appreciate if you'd not go around calling yourself a slave in the future." "It was improvisation. Can't argue with the results." "Speaking of improvisation, you put the whole mission at risk with this little stunt. The fuck were you thinking?" "It was supposed to be a brief, easy trip. I wanted someone I knew, a friend, on the team. I've dealt with enough people who hate me in recent weeks." "Whatever. Let's get your friends out of here. Hope they understand we're the only right out. If they run off, I'm not going to stop the Greys from nabbing them next time." The human unclasped the cage door and watched as the Harkin tumbled out. Selani inspected the predator with petrified eyes. Her comrades seemed repulsed by Carlos's lumbering form too, squealing as they returned his stare. The journalist's eyes darted to the side as though they wanted to run. Did you tell the Oxel to attack us?" Selani blurted. Carlos narrowed his eyes. "I don't know. That's above my clearance level. If we did, it was likely to deter your forces from attacking us. The UN wouldn't want this to happen." I slumped my shoulders. Not even people like Samantha. Wouldn't she want the Harkin to feel the same losses as Earth? The indignant cough came from an abandoned vehicle behind us. Upon closer inspection, the female human was stretched out behind cover. A thin rifle barrel with a glass ornament was propped up on the ground. She must have been monitoring the interaction the entire time, and watching Carlos's back in case the confrontation went awry. "I don't believe people deserve to die for what they are. That's the Federation," she growled. "If an individual renounces their government, I'm sure Earth would welcome them with open arms. Now the ones responsible, complicit, or indifferent." Carlos cleared his throat. "We're parked a few blocks away. Somewhere we wouldn't be visible to the whole world. Sovlin, stick close, guys, and follow us." The human retraced his route with delicate footsteps. His rifle was ready if any Oxel crawled out of the woodwork, and Samantha fell in at his side. The predator guards forged a path for the Harkin journalists, ignoring their hesitance. It was remarkable to see the vengeful primates aiding a species that partook in the attack days prior. End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon W.R.E, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.